Left the keys in there and it's all locked up.
I don't know if you saw all his clothes and stuff back. He's completely naked wherever he's at. All right, Collins, you good?
Time has gone by in a blur,
Arrest for that subject is coming back to Missouri City.
but yet it's also been so long. Because every day, that could be the day you get the call.
Jason Landry, a Texas State University student from Houston, disappeared Sunday, December 13th. His car was found crashed in a remote area outside Luling. Austin-based nonprofit Texas Search and Rescue combed the pump-jack-dotted landscape for 9 days with no sign of Landry.
Law enforcement sources are telling us that they now need your help to figure out what happened during the 67-minute window between the time they last have a digital footprint of Landry and where his vehicle was found crashed just after midnight on December 14th. Investigators say his last digital footprint was at the intersection of Austin Street and Magnolia in Luling. His car was found wrecked in the 2300 block of Salt Flat Road, about 5 miles away.
Got his backpack here, shirt and watch right there, shoes, and right up there is where his shorts and underwear are.
Got a fish or something in that cup.
Yeah, it's dead.
This video was of the night Jason Landry's crashed vehicle and belongings were found laid out along a desolate road in Luling, Texas. His car was found December 13th, 2020, around 11:30 p.m. There was no sign of the Texas State student.
We do believe he's possibly injured.
The Caldwell County Sheriff's Office also gave us a copy of their dispatcher's calls regarding the crash.
Texas State University.
Hello, this is the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office.
The dispatcher contacts Texas State to check Landry's address off campus. They also call Verizon Wireless to get the location of Jason's cell phone. Verizon gives them coordinates that pinpoint the cell phone on Hoover Street at 2 a.m., nearly 5 miles away from where his car was discovered hours before.
Possible naked dude is plotting in the area of that property.
I'm sorry, a possible naked dude? Is this the dude from the car accident?
Yeah, that's what the fire guy said.
The next morning, when Jason's father arrives at the towing company, he finds Jason's cell phone inside of the car.
What the heck happened back here?
Something happened to Jason. Nothing should happen between San Marcos and Houston that would cause you this nightmare. I got there about 5 in the morning, and I was the only one there looking for him. Got his phone from the car about 7 in the morning.
Authorities leave behind some of his things on the side of the road. His father finds them the next day as he searched for his son.
This is his toiletry bag. This is his flip-flops. These are Jason's clothes lying in the road. Socks, shorts. It's underwear.
Since then, the Landrys have been living a nightmare that never ends, not knowing what happened to Jason.
Someone has to know something. All it's going to take is one person. I can't imagine that someone else would do this to another family, to have the information and not share it. I just can't imagine someone being that cold-hearted, not to help another family.
Kent Landry was an attorney for many years. He's now a pastor and says they know wherever Jason is, he's with God.
I became an attorney for the same reason I became a pastor. I want to help people. You can help people greatly as an attorney, but the most help you give someone is telling them about Jesus. So the reasoning is the same. To try to help people to make a positive difference in the world, to leave the world a better place than when you came.
And it is the prayers of thousands that the Landrys say is getting them through this, the nightmare that all parents have, a nightmare that they know someone out there has the key to stop.
I don't know who you are, and I don't really care. All I care about is my son. And we want to know what happened, and we want to know where he is. And if you know that, you need to come forward. We set up an anonymous line. I don't care who you are. I am not in, I don't care about retribution or revenge. What I care about is my son. This has had to be laying on your heart and been eating you up from inside. And if you've known this piece of information for this entire time, it's had to be gnawing from inside. So I'm just asking you to let it out. Make one phone call. Let us know where our boy is.
It's horrible to think that something's happened to him and we can't find him. We don't know where he is. We don't know what he's going through right now. I mean, it's just horrible. We know wherever he is, God is with him.
Now their wish is to give a resting place to their son and find justice. The Landrys now have the help of Project Absentees, a nonprofit that helps find the missing. Through interviews and tips, Project Absentees and their former agents are piecing together the puzzle of what happened to the Texas State student.
We've talked to a lot of people in this area along with Caldwell County, throughout Caldwell County. We've talked to a lot of people in San Marcos. We do have a fairly good idea what could have happened to Jason.
Information they do not want to make public until state and local authorities have a chance to do their job and tighten the circle around those who may have killed the 21-year-old. Peña took us to see exactly where the last digital footprints of Landry were recorded by his cell phone. We drove that same path in disbelief that someone who did not live here or know the area would travel this desolate road. This is also the reason Project Absentees is now asking once again for a geofence warrant to be issued.
And it'll tell us the other cell phones that were active in that area. And that gives us some leads that we can then go, and possible witnesses that we can identify and then go talk to.
To put it in perspective, the area where his car was found is northwest of Luling. That is the complete opposite direction he would need to take if he was driving home to Missouri City near Houston. He would have taken Highway 183 south to I-10. So after traveling for about 4 miles, the last part of it gravel, dirt road, no light out here, the vehicle crashed right here at this tree. But this is not where they found the clothes. The clothes were found that way.
I find it hard to believe that you have a car accident, a missing person, and no one found the clothes or the cell phone right away.
Is there any doubt in your mind that you will figure out what happened to Jason?
Yeah, we're dedicated to finding out, and I believe very strongly with the team that we have, we're going to find out what happened to Jason.
Answers that his family knows someone is holding back on.
All right, college kid. So it looks like right. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. Yep. Whew.
That's why I didn't want to leave it back.
That or he's a delivery boy.
The Landry family tells us they're upset about recent comments the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office made to the media about their son's alleged use of marijuana the night he disappeared, and of the release of Jason's digital footprints, including these Snapchat videos showing their son's interest for pot.
Or like the oxygen part out of the water and been that.
Time for someone else to look at it, or maybe entertain the possibility that someone else was involved, because Jason's not in the place we've been searching around the accident. Don't you at least have to entertain the possibility? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I don't know that. That's not my job. That's his job, not to judge my son, is to try to figure out what happened. Well, it hurts. To be honest, it feels like character assassination of my son. And it just doesn't make sense to me. What's the point? Why?
A few months ago, he asked the Attorney General's office to take over the investigation into what happened to his son from the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office. After the county released these videos, pictures, and digital footprints to Fox San Antonio, we asked for an interview, but got an email instead that in part says, "We are hopeful that the Texas Attorney General's office newly formed Missing Persons Unit agrees to take this case on and will be meeting with that office in the coming weeks."
I'm not collecting up the clothes. but I'm taking this.
Landry's family is shocked that these videos, Snapchats, and other evidence were released to the media.
I just think judging a 21-year-old who is missing, who can't defend themselves, and releasing this and making the comments that he made, number one, they're hurtful. But as a former criminal attorney, you know, if I were the prosecutor in that county, I would not be happy, because you're assassinating the character of your victim. And that's not law enforcement's job. It's not law enforcement's job to judge us. It's to protect us and to help us, regardless of whether you smoke pot.
Left the keys in there and it's all locked up. I'm not smelling any marijuana. That's what they were telling me.
Tomorrow night, we see Jason Landry's last digital footprints, and we hear from the Texas State student in videos he recorded before he headed home for the holidays.
Lead investigator Captain Jeff Ferry says there is no evidence to suggest that this is or will become a criminal case.
There's thousands of images over the area where Jason was believed to have gone missing from. Over a pretty good timeline.
Newly released video shows Landry FaceTiming a friend in his San Marcos apartment for nearly an hour right before leaving to Missouri City.
We're able to say with confidence that he doesn't stop. He continues his route of travel. He's in the car by himself.
Other video released shows Landry smoking marijuana on Snapchat, something Captain Ferry says is relevant to this case.
You know, people can be participants in criminal activity and still be victims of crime. So that's not our intent in victim blaming. We are able to say that, you know, the things we're releasing because we have confidence that they are directly associated with events tied to Jason Landry being missing.
Captain Ferry says the next step in this investigation is to speak with the Attorney General's office.
They have a new cold case division, and so we're hopeful that they'll agree to take this case over.
Well, right now we're following a breaking development in a missing person case that we've been following for almost 2 years now, that of Jason Landry. We just spoke with his father, who confirmed investigators in New York are heading to a hospital to determine if a man who was found unconscious in the Bronx is his son. So this comes after the NYPD released this photo last night, seeking help to identify that individual. They say he was found Friday night, unconscious and unresponsive on a street in the Bronx with no apparent injuries. And Ken Landry told us that just looking at the picture, it does look a lot like his son. Other than that, though, he didn't know why investigators are considering his son as they try to identify that individual.
It's very up or down. I mean, it's been 591 days of up and down. So it would just, gosh, you're afraid to hope. But you just keep hoping and praying.
That was the father of Jason Landry, who was 21 when he went missing. And his dad said that he hopes that by tonight, investigators in New York will have an ID, or at least know whether or not it is his son. Investigators here in Texas have sent over all the information on his fingerprints and anything else that they have on file to identify him.
A man with no ID found unconscious in New York City is not missing Texas State student Jason Landry.
If you look at the picture, it does look a lot like our son Jason.
New York police first posted on social media asking people to help identify the man found unresponsive on the streets of the Bronx. He had no ID but looked similar to Jason Landry. It turned out not to be him, and the man's been identified as a Yonkers resident. His family has been notified as well.
I know I'm going to see my son again. It may be here, or it's going to be in heaven. And that's the hope that makes all the difference. It's a crazy feeling. I mean, of all the, I get sent pictures and usually, and you take one look at it and it's not him. But this one, I actually had to look at for a while to get an idea whether I thought it was Jason or not. So, yeah, it's a strange place to be as a family. You hope it is, but you also know that it's probably not.
So now they go back to praying and hoping that with the Attorney General's Office Cold Case Unit taking the case from Caldwell County, they will soon find out what happened to Jason 591 days ago.
Caldwell County Sheriff's Office, I think it's a fair question, what did they do with the case? What investigation did they actually do? As for them, they think he was eaten by a pig, and that's all, that's all. I don't think they've done anything on it really. So I think part of the issue has been with the investigators from the AG's office. They've had to go back and do investigation that probably should have been done, 18 months ago. And that's hard work, and it takes a lot of time to do so. So we're having to be very patient for them to basically go back to square one and start actually investigating the case.
Before today, the Landrys and their private investigator, retired FBI agent Abel Peña, believe that someone in the area where Jason disappeared knows what happened to him. Now they're asking again to be man or woman enough to come forward and end their suffering.
They can be anonymous in their tip line, but more than anything else, people need to do the right thing. If you know what happened with our son that night in December, you need to come forward, because it's got to be, I can't imagine having that kind of thing, carrying it around in your heart. And I just ask them to have the courage to step forward and to do justice.
It's the love, laughter, and hugs Jason Landry's family members say they hold on to closely.
It's still really hard not knowing any answers and knowing that your son or your nephew or your family member is just vanished.
The Luling community is keeping Jason's light alive with a prayer vigil in search of answers on the 2-year anniversary of his disappearance.
We think about him daily, we miss him, and we just still want answers. I mean, hopefully someone somewhere will know something and share.
Landry's parents and his aunt Donna Eganoff say being so close to the crash site brings back a lot of emotions.
They have bad nights where they don't sleep, but they have faith in Christ.
Search crews scour the area looking for Jason after he went missing, but nothing turned up. While other searches did offer hope, it was never Landry. Volunteer searcher Jason Watts says crews will again look in areas they think weren't thoroughly checked or haven't been searched yet.
Every missing person deserves to be looked for, deserves to be found. Every family deserves to have people that help them in their journey and help bring them hope and faith.
Family and community members are hopeful he's still out there somewhere as they bring light to darkness.
They really, truly believe in their hearts that Jason is in heaven and they will meet him again someday.
His disappearance comes down to that intersection in Luling, Alston and Magnolia Street at 11:30 p.m. From that point to when the car was found about 2 miles away on Salt Flat Road, in a 1-hour time window. Someone had to see something.
Project Absentees gave what they found to the Caldwell County District Attorney's Office, which then asked the Attorney General's Office to pick up the case. And that's who's investigating it now.
They're having to go back and do a lot of things that could have been done earlier on, and a lot of forensic analysis and things like that.
The Landry family knows they have to be patient to hopefully find out what happened to their son.
As hard as it is to wait, we would rather wait and it be done well and we know the truth. And if someone is criminally responsible, that they be held responsible.
In your heart, do you think your son's still alive?
No, I think he's in heaven. We may not have any more future together on this earth, but the comfort we have as a family, that I have as a dad, is that I'll see Jason again, but it'll be in heaven.
Kent Landry says they will pray someone on this anniversary will finally come forward with the truth.
For 2 years, I that's just such a burden to have that guilt, that just come forward and unburden your heart. Let the truth be told, whatever it might be. let the chips fall where they may after that, but at least start the process so that we can have answers as to where our son is.
Pain never stops. You always have this question, what if? We're one of many families who are staring at an empty chair around the kitchen table, not knowing.
No matter the passage of time, Kent Landry, father of Jason Landry, says the pain of having a missing son never goes away.
Are they gone? Are they not gone? What can you do?
He says as a pastor, his family has leaned on their faith to cope, but that still doesn't give them the answers they need.
It's a prayer of people, our family, and knowing an eternal hope in Christ is the only thing that makes you get through it. I honestly don't know from that first week if we actually have any more answers than we had that first time.
The case is now in the hands of the Texas Attorney General's Cold Case and Missing Persons Unit. In a statement Wednesday, the unit reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to the investigation, and last month it even put together a roundtable to discuss the case. Sitting at that table was Texas Search and Rescue, which has coordinated countless searches in this case that have spanned more than 57 square miles and 35,000 square acres.
Folks that show up to these searches, they're highly trained, but they're moms and dads too.
Texar Director of Communications Shannon Smith says despite the use of forensics, aerial photos, and behavior analysis, it's frustrating when that's not enough.
To try, to see and ensure that, no stone, isn't looked at, but it's difficult when the answers just aren't there.
Landry says while it does nothing for the pain, he's still relieved so many are working to find his son.
There's so many law enforcement that will run that lead down and take it from there, but if there's someone who knows something, please make that anonymous call.